What's up, my beautiful, beautiful people? So I wanted to share a little bit of this book that I've been having this book for a while, and I wanted to share a little bit of it because I was looking at it last night, and I think, well, I know that right now is a really good time to start, more than ever, to remove any type of blockages that we may have, and really start focusing more on ourselves and our mental health. So with that, I wanted to share a little bit of this book that I have, Manifesting: The Secret Behind the Law of Attraction. All right. You can get this book on Amazon. And it's not a really expensive book. So the chapter, though, that I was looking at is removing mental and emotional blocks. And so it basically goes into like what a mental block is, and also what an emotional block is, and what you can do to help yourself to remove those blockages. That way, you can allow things to flow better in your life, because I am a firm knower that where the mind goes, the energy flows. So let's just dive in, shall we? All right, so the author goes into breaking down like what a mental block is. And so mental blocks are limited beliefs. So limited beliefs is like what they're saying is like when you are totally convinced about something, no matter what it is, and you really believe that whatever that limited belief is, you believe that it's true. And so it talks about how you attract what you believe. And I talked about this in a previous video, how I was talking about how if you how it's not logical to always be in like a love and light kind of mood. And y'all have to excuse me because my little phone mount is broken, so I'm kind of trying to find my groove here with holding this phone and this book. But anyway, when I was talking about how it's not logical to always be like in a love and light type of mindset, which I feel like that's natural because we are duality beings, but where it comes into play is when you start to believe what you're thinking. So it's one thing to just be having like a quote unquote shitty day, but it's really when you start to believe that you're having a shitty day because XYZ. Okay, so the author says you attract what you believe. So if you are convinced and you believe that people are genuinely untrustworthy, then you will attract many untrustworthy people. So I agree with that, and in a sense I kind of don't agree. And I say I agree with that because, again, where you put a lot of your energy, I do believe that you will attract those types of things. But at the same time, you, no matter what, you're still gonna attract people who could possibly be untrustworthy. And it's not because you're thinking that all people are just untrustworthy, but these people can naturally be untrustworthy people. And so that's why I say I disagree too, because it is what it is. Like, you're gonna attract good people, you're gonna attract people who are not so good in their intention. But he goes on to also say, when it comes to like your finances, if you believe that you do not deserve financial abundance, then you will attract lack or shortage of money into your personal life. I agree with that, because if you do have a mindset that you'll never have anything, that energy can manifest in you not wanting to do anything because you feel like you don't deserve shit. So where the mind goes, the energy flows. So the author says the law of attraction attracts whatever you place your attention on, and our beliefs are a subconscious way of placing attention on something. The subconscious mind is our mental database where we have kept and stored all things that have happened to us, good, bad, the ugly, whatever. And we have stored that into our subconscious, and that storage then transforms into how we react to things. And the author does go into that. So, how do you remove limited beliefs? So one of the things that the author mentions is imagination. Imagination is so key, because if you can imagine something, the way that the subconscious works, it's not, and I talked about this before, the subconscious is not biased. It doesn't pass judgment. So whatever you tell your subconscious mind, it's like, okay, this is happening. So if you can imagine yourself having an abundance of, whether it's money, whether it's, attracting like-minded people into your life, if you can just imagine that and get that feeling of that, your subconscious mind is thinking that it's really happening. So your subconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what's not. It just knows what you're feeling in the moment, and it's taking it in as data, like, okay, this is happening. So if you can imagine yourself, and the book references money, so if we stick to that topic, and you can imagine yourself, and it says if you can like do this for 5 to 10 minutes. So if you can put yourself in a space where you can imagine you have a certain amount in your bank account, whatever that amount is that you desire, and you can place that into your mind, and you can now create the feeling of you looking at your bank account with all of this money in there and how you feel, and you know what I'm saying? You do that, and then you can also imagine how it feels to have a circle of people that are like-minded, that are supportive, that are loving, that are nurturing, that will push you to be the best version of yourself that you desire to be. And you sit and you think about that and you meditate on that 5 to 10 minutes. Your subconscious mind will think this is happening. And because of that, you will be able to attract whatever it is that you want, because now you have the energy, now you have the momentum behind your imagery to be able to manifest that into your life. So it does also say that you are going to have to practice this quite often, which we should all know that you're not going to change a habit overnight. Like, I believe they say it's 21 days to break a habit. So that's practice. So if you can get into the mode of practicing imagination of the things that you want on a daily basis, you are already on track to rewiring your subconscious. Okay. So he then goes into the feeling of it. So again, imagining how you feel, and with that feeling, you can then come up with ideas to how can I get more money, or how can I attract, you know, the people that I want in my life. So again, where the mind goes, the energy flows. So if you can keep your thoughts focused on the shit that you want, you'll then be able to get you'll get the vibe, you'll get the urge to be like, okay, this is what I want, how do I get it? Okay, so when it comes to like limited beliefs, you just pretty much have to scratch that shit. You just gonna have to get out of the mode that you don't deserve shit, and you have to start to tell yourself, yes I do, yes I do, yes I do. And that takes a hell of a lot of practice. So let's go on to the next part. All right, so he gives an example of what a particular belief could be. So the belief is you have to work extremely hard to get money. And then he breaks down the reality is, while you do have, okay, hold on, pause. While you do have to apply some effort and work, it is in fact not the super hard struggling at work that attracts more financial abundance. So that term that you gotta grind, that is not necessarily, I mean, yeah, you want to get out there and you want to do the things that you need to do to bring in what you need. But the fact that you have to work extremely hard and stress yourself out, I don't necessarily agree with that, because you have to still be in alignment. So being in alignment for me is key. You can work extremely hard, but still at the end of the day, you just might end up tired as fuck. And I mean, you know what I mean? So definitely just try to keep the mindset of, yes, I'm going to work hard, but don't have the energy of, you know, you grinding, you struggling just to do XYZ. Remember to always still be in alignment, okay? The author also talks about following your hunches or following your heart. We hear that term all the time, follow your heart, follow your heart. And I believe that the heart is truly, I was going to say like the number one brain, because we hear it all the time. Even when it comes to like intuition, I feel like intuition is something that's coming really from the heart and also from the gut. So, which, you know, you want to follow that. You always, because we always say, man, if I would have done such and such like I said, but I didn't listen to myself. We say that all the time. So just keep in mind too, you always want to listen to your intuition. We all have it. You just have to tap into it. Okay. So then the next part is emotional blocks, and it talks about what are emotional blocks. Emotional blocks are psychological and subconscious wounds on the level of feeling. A common emotional charge is rage that is triggered by pushing someone's buttons. A button is an emotional charge with a wound underneath it. That, when I read that shit, I was like, okay, very true, because a lot of times we can push people buttons, and you might not even know that you're pushing their button. But you push a button and the person might react in a crazy type of way, and you be like, damn, what the fuck wrong with you? And it's because whatever you said or whatever you did, there was a wound behind that action, which comes from the subconscious. We have buried so many things within our subconscious, and a lot of them are they're so pushed down into our subconscious that many of us forget that it's there until somebody says something or somebody does something, and then you react in a crazy ass way, and you might not even really know why you reacted that way. And it takes that self-work for you to sit back and say, okay, Why am I upset? Where is this coming from? And you have to then do the work to fix that, to heal that wound, and not only heal it, but transmute it into something else. So when it arises again, you don't provide that same reaction. Okay. And he does talk about how most people, I just said that most people don't remember the origin of the wound, because a lot of it could come from childhood traumas or adolescent trauma. Even adults, many of us still suffer from some sort of trauma that happened while we were adults. And even just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you're not going to push it down and you're not going to, want to deal with it. So he talks about, how do you heal emotional wounding? So emotional wounding can only be healed through your own efforts, which are therapy or self-therapy. If you have to go and talk to somebody, see a therapist or whatever, I say to each their own. I have seen many therapists in my life. I have seen many psychiatrists in my life, due to the traumas that I've dealt with from a very young age. Throughout teenage years, I've had to sit down and talk to somebody. And it wasn't until, I would say, like 2014 maybe, is when I knew, okay, I can self-therapy. I don't need to pay money to go and talk to somebody. I can talk to thyself. You know what I mean? So, lastly, he says, to heal an emotional wound, you need to find the love, acceptance, or approval and bring it into that painful, hurting place in yourself. So I'm going to stop there, because back to what I just said, self-therapy. Nobody can heal you but you. You can sit there and talk to those doctors, and you can sit there, and talk to your friends, and that's cool. It's cool to have people around that can help, but at the end of the day, only you can make those changes for you. Nobody can step into your life and make changes that need to be done. Only you can do that. And the love and acceptance, or whatever it is that you feel like you need to find that within you. So whatever you need to do that, just do it. Okay. So again, Manifesting is the name of the book. The author is Alexander Janzer. You can get this book on Amazon. Like I said, it's relatively cheap. And it's a very good book. It's not a whole lot of pages. It's really thin, but it is filled with so many jewels. And I just wanted to share this with y'all, because I'm all about mental alchemy. So do the work and it'll happen. Take time, practice. Again, like I said before, flashcards, self-talk, all of that shit, mantras, listening to music, putting yourself in a vibe, whatever you have to do. Okay? You have the time now. Many of y'all are not working. And if you are working, you're working from home. Whatever the case may be, find the time to work on you. There is a shift happening. The shift is happening. And we have to be on code with this shift. And it is time to continue to level up. No stagnant energy. Finish your projects. Create some new projects. And just continue to strive to be a better you here first, because all is mental. Okay? All right. Let's get this day started. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.